Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of DQ Deep Tech Studio, and we have with us today Dr. Amit Shukla, who is the Assistant Professor at the School of Engineering at IIT Mandi. What's interesting about Dr. Shukla is he also leads training initiatives for AI and robotics at IIT Kanpur and at IIT Mandi for not only students but also for corporate professionals. But what can Dr. Shukla tell you about deep tech? He can tell us about the role of academia in bridging the gap between the industry expectations and what the colleges are teaching the children. Also, Dr. Shukla himself is an entrepreneur, so he can give an insights of how an entrepreneur and academia can collaborate together for the future of deep tech in India. Welcome, Dr. Shukla. Nice to have you on this episode.
Thank you very much.
So, Dr. Shukla, tell me, what are the expectations from the industry in terms of drones, robotics, and where are the challenges and where is academia lacking, and how is the progress in bridging that gap?
See, for example, one thing I have worked very extensively for almost it is now going to be 9 years or 10 years almost with oil and gas industry. After my PhD, I worked with the R&D center of ADNOC, Petroleum Institute. There I developed a autonomous a ground vehicle and aerial vehicle for inspection of oil and gas pipeline actually. So I worked with the industry very extensively. What I felt many times, which things, the initiative is not getting properly supported, because many times the existing people, those who are operating the system, especially in the industry, I have a more experience with the Middle East, but even now from last 2 years, I'm working with a lot of Indian companies as well. The mindset of adopting the new technology, adopting the robotics, they still believe that we have a cheap labor. Why do I require to automate any process actually? And where there is a risk, technology is not validated actually. So what happens? They are not ready to invest actually. This is one of the biggest problem which I see, that probably some of our industry, the way, because we have lacked the manufacturing actually, because most established robotics example come from the manufacturing industry. If you see that whole manufacturing line has been automated, if you see the car manufacturing and other, it's a pretty advanced system actually. So unfortunately, we are not very strong. So what happened? Industries, they want a quick benefit. So, but robotics require a long-term investment. Actually, means you start investing now, you start investing in R&D today, and after a couple of years, there will be a rewards for that. Actually, for example, we can see in the space sector, India has done very well in means with the ISRO actually. So these are the very advanced cutting-edge technology, but it requires means long-term commitment and R&D. Somehow our industries are not necessarily I'm talking in an Indian context, not coming very forward, putting a lot of effort and planned manner the investment into the R&D of robotics. So this is where we are lacking. And also which I already mentioned, that mindset of the existing setup, the people, those who are very comfortable in existing manual way of operation, and the reliability issue are there, challenges are there. So they feel that why to adopt a new something uncertain, maybe little disruptive. We don't know what is going to be the outcome. So they're little, they lag behind it. They do not encourage actually those kind of, research initiative. So this is what I feel. But I personally believe, as for example, I can see some of the Indian companies are touching the new height in terms of, expansion of the market, in terms of their, like a profit, and, entering to different areas. I'm sure they should start investing more and more R&D. And universities are always the leader for knowledge generation. They are not the people who can really go and manufacture a product, or they can see clear industry vision actually. So that's why they complement each other's role. Means industry is not generating the knowledge, but they are very good in making the product, making sustainable, because they can generate revenue out of it actually. And academics people, they are very good in knowledge generation, and they have a very talented manpower and pool actually. So when they come together, I'm sure this can be overcome. And frankly speaking, from means my experience from last 2 years in India, I'm seeing a very, very encouraging sign. For example, I'm working with the TCS, I'm working with the GAIL India, I'm working with some of the other companies actually trying to implement robotics and drone into the area of industrial inspection actually. And even government has taken initiative there. Means, for example, I'm recently a part of like a IIT Delhi led initiative where they are trying to select certain project which can make as a product for useful for the Indian industries. So I'm one of the person who is leading designing like a ground vehicle and aerial vehicle based autonomous inspection of industrial infrastructure based on my previous experience. So when government is also encouraging a lot, so I'm sure this positive signs are coming. Though we are a little late, as I mentioned that we missed that manufacturing bus which China caught on, and they did very well actually. And if you see that means most of the robotics, especially in the manufacturing industry, they are used by the China. If you see, means statistics actually. So we have to catch up, especially we are doing very well in the area of AI, which is kind of brain for the robot actually, because earlier the robot was hard coded, logically programmed, but they were not they were not like a very advanced perception module were there. With advancement of the AI and then hardware of the robotics, we can do like a very great actually. And I'm sure we are in a sweet spot right now with the pandemic especially, because if you see, it means believe me, my experience is saying that even with my company, even with my research, I'm getting now a lot of new requests from the areas where people did not pay much attention earlier actually. For example, agriculture. For example, some of the regular industrial work actually, they did not expect earlier the robotics, because again I mentioned that mindset. A lot of manpower is there. Why do I need an automation and robotics? But I'm getting now a lot of requests from these sectors, and this is very, very encouraging for me as a robotic scientist, and even for my student and the manpower actually. More demand, and we'll be able to train more manpower, and I'm sure this capital and equipment constraint will be we can overcome actually. So this is the trend I'm looking, and I'm very positive about it.
That's nice. But Dr. Shukla, you did mention that we missed the bus. What are the repercussions of missing that particular manufacturing boom that we should have capitalized on? And how do we redeem ourselves? What is the next bus that we need to catch? We cannot miss.
Yes, very good question actually. So actually, the idea is this: when earlier when we missed this manufacturing burst, it stopped us making a kind of a cheaper prototype and scaling it. See, biggest problem with the Indian industry right now, I as an entrepreneur feel that we feel a lot of difficulty in scaling up. I'm able to make a one prototype with some kind of a funding, but then when I want to scale it up, I require more like a support from the industry or the users actually. We unfortunately, since we missed that manufacturing where people automated a lot of things and there's a lot more requirement actually, and that may not be very, very high tech right now actually. So what happened when we missed that, our prototype become expensive, then scaling up become very, very difficult, and then we do not find enough user for that technology actually. So what happened at the end, even my innovation become unsustainable actually. Because see, for example, if we have a rich manufacturing where I can make a cheaper prototype, I can scale it up, a lot of people will be there to invest in the new cutting edge technology, which is disruptive. For example, I see there's a lot of sector which can be revolutionized. For example, when fintech came to India, this online shopping and other, you require a very, very strong automated supply chain. Warehouse automation, sorting, shipping, all those things can be automated actually. Then different sector. If you see that India is importing, this automated drones for the surveillance, for the defense from the different countries, from Israel, from the US. We should have been able to make this in India actually. And then space robotics, the race for the space is recently means, I think yesterday only this founder of Virgin, billionaire Richard Branson, he went to the space. So space robotics picking up big time. Mines actually, because mines are becoming more and more dangerous, and then because new raw materials are found at a very, very hostile places. So robotics can be used there. Then industrial inspection, agriculture, health sector. transportation, manufacturing. So these are the area, but unfortunately, since the basic by which China became superpower with the manufacturing, we missed it. We are lacking in other areas. But how, your question that how we can redeem ourselves, again, I just mentioned that now we are seeing a very encouraging chance. And then AI is a new disruption actually. Like people are saying that data is a new oil. So this bus we should not miss actually. We should utilize, generate more and more manpower in this area, which can handle the processing of the data. And I think we can become a world leader into this one. Because India, with huge population, we are generating tons and tons of data actually. And these data can be used for various purposes, making more advanced perception module for the robotics, for the different industries. And then this hardware, obviously we cannot go to the replicate the China again. Actually, this was kind of a once in a lifetime event. But obviously there's certain sector, like for example, even government is also trying this PLI scheme with, actually they're giving incentive. So I think certain sector, especially I believe that like a precision manufacturing, which is a very very specialized area, we should be able to pick up in certain very niche area, and we can scale it that actually. And combined with the AI, I'm sure we will be able to, should be able to at least overcome whatever drawbacks we have got, because we missed the earlier, industry 3.0, which is a manufacturing revolution. I'm sure industry 4.0, which is AI and robotics and automation, we should not miss this bus.
Got it. So Dr. Shukla, when you talk about advancements, you're so enthusiastic and optimistic about some of the advancements that are coming in. What are some of the advancements that are coming in from the institutes themselves, and what are you very much excited about?
See, frankly speaking, like I can see, unlike the earlier situation, now that you see IIT Mandi, they have started even bachelor course in data sciences and AI. IIT Kanpur is also starting, and recently the one initiative has been started by Indian government where they are trying to make different IITs as a technological innovation hub, that is called TIH. So IIT Delhi is for the robotics, IIT Kanpur, they have made for the cyber physical systems. Same way, different IITs are taking different role, and they should become a technological innovation hub. So these initiatives, I'm very, very, encouraged seeing within. In fact, means we are working as a consortium. For example, IIT Hyderabad, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, different IITs, they are pitching in. And we are now this time more focused that we want to create something as a product which can be self-sustainable after. It's not that, earlier what people used to do, that some very, very intuitive research came, people publish certain papers, they made certain prototype and they forget and then move to something else actually. And also earlier the IITs were encouraging, means I as a professor get promotion when I have a more publications and a more research into that area. But now even IITs is giving weightage to more entrepreneurship, actually more entrepreneurship oriented product development, and these are the very, very encouraging sign. But I believe that it has to be little more faster pace actually. We should not still tangle again with the same way. We have to because world is very fast nowadays. We started with the 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G is coming. So we have to be a little faster paced and allow the, my very, very strong suggestion is this: in IIT should allow their professors to interact with the industry more closely and take up the position in the industry. And this should allow also industry people to come and mingle, associate, teach, train, learn, and develop at academic environment. So when this intermingling will happen very strongly, I'm sure something very, very nice will come out. Like, for example, if you see the US, if you read the history of the Google, how it came, they were the PhD dropouts actually. They came into the PhD, came up with some innovative idea, and then went back and developed something. They tested at campus. First, the server for the Google was developed at the campus. Later on, they scaled up into the full-fledged market. So, like IITs and other institute, like technical institute, has to encourage this kind of a culture actually, where the entrepreneurship, product development, solving real problem which India is facing, or even any other technical challenge or a bottleneck, which industry 4.0 in terms of AI, in terms of electric vehicle, in terms of battery and other things, they should encourage more and more. And I'm sure this will brings fruit to us actually. And I'm very excited about it, the new trend which I'm seeing. For example, recently when I floated this robotics program in my department, and I opened that, okay, anyone from computer science, from electrical engineering, from mechanical engineering, from other branches can come and join the robotics. And I saw very, very enthusiastic response from the different students who want to learn it actually. So again, the response is very, very encouraging, but we have to do it at faster pace. The current pace is still not sufficient. I will request and I will encourage government and other, those who are the leader or policy maker, they should increase the funding in this area because it's capital intensive. I'm sure fruit will come, but let first invest in R&D actually.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Shukla. Thank you for your insights and thank you for taking time off for this episode. And we will look forward to many more initiatives from IIT Mandi.